On Storyboard today, the readership measurement crisis continues. The MRUC refuses to withdraw IRS 2013. Why Hindustan Unilever is the country's most effective marketer. And the big highlights from Super Bowl 48. Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Pavni Mittal. It's been another dramatic week for audience measurement in India, courtesy the Indian Readership Survey. On Monday, 18 publishers and the Indian Newspaper Society demanded withdrawal of the survey within 24 hours, citing anomalies in the data. However, at an emergency meeting on the 4th of February, the Media Research Users Council or MRUC decided that the study won't be withdrawn or temporarily suspended. Storyboard reports.
On the 28th of this month, you released the new IRS. And on the 29th, we saw some positive reports of the study and the survey. And then 2 days later, all hell broke loose. We have now 18 publishers who say they are rejecting the IRS for two reasons. One is when they make comparisons with the past, the comparisons don't seem to make sense. Two is they speak of anomalies in the survey. This has led to the INS yesterday telling the MRUC that is, that they want you by 5 p.m. today to stop the publishing of the data and, to not even revert, to stop publishing. We're getting close to that right now. So MRUC has had an emergency meeting, and what is the outcome? Where do we stand now?
I think with all the inundation of queries that has come, and if we really have to look at it, most of them are on account of a simple way of looking at the data itself. When you have a very low, small count of sample data, unweighted sample, when you look at it, it will give you wrong projections. Therefore, the most important thing is if the input, which is all the measures that has been taken to design the RFP, to the methodology, to the process that has been done, is all been right, and the non-sample errors, therefore manual interaction or interjection has been minimal, then the output is something what you get as an outcome basis on respondents' level of responses. And from what we see, this is one of the best study that has ever been done in this country in this large scale, the level of IRS, the way it has evolved itself. For me, when I look at the queries, most of the queries can be very easily answered. Unfortunately, it is the case that some of the publication groups have taken a very strong stance and not willing to listen either in terms of why the numbers are the way it is and how to look at it. For me, this is a great study, and I think the stance has been very clear from our side. We don't see the real need to either withdraw or to put it in abeyance, and we think it is a study that we need to go. However, I would like to add as MRUC, we would like to be as transparent the way the RSCI was formed, with a combination of ABC and MRUC board members together to look at and design this entire study. And we are open to say if there are any checks that's required or validation that's required on the 19th meeting which RSCI chairman has called in, we are more than happy to look at it and share it with them. Therefore, there is no ambiguity left anymore in the process.
Right. So as we stand, nothing is going to be withdrawn. It's business as usual for MRUC.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, Paritosh, the more one sees it, we see the problem perhaps is coming from, whether you like it or not, comparisons being made to past IRS results. Now, you have underlined, MRUC, you particularly personally have underlined that these comparisons are odious. Do you agree with me that most of these problems seem to arise out of comparisons being made?
Comparison with the previous IRS are odious because we have actually changed everything, including even defining what is readership. In the past, when we asked about the readership of a publication, the question that was initially asked was, have you seen this paper for 2 minutes or longer in the preceding 12 months? That question was tightened down to the preceding 1 month. So that itself trims the long tail. The second one is the manner of administration of the masthead question has changed so that every masthead gets equal opportunity to be represented to the consumer. In the process, and the technology change and everything has meant that the two data sets are not comparable.
One would have thought with so many representatives of publications on RSCI and MRUC, such possibilities would have been discussed.
No, nothing was not brought up.
Right.
All of the things that were decided have been decided with complete sharing either at the technical committee level or at the RSCI committee level, depending upon the nature of the decision that needed to be taken. Let's take the single biggest one. We dropped all measures of readership except the AIR. That old thing about claim readers and total readers and all is gone. This AIR decision was the first big decision that we took. And one could argue that this decision actually hurt certain long-tail genres within the print business.
Sure.
But publishers and everybody else agreed that this was the right decision to take. In that same manner, for instance, the entire RFP was absolutely available to everybody, was all the key salient points were specifically placed before the RSCI.
Can anyone say, can any big publisher say that he or she did not know this was going to happen?
It is not an individual publisher, but certainly the body called the ABC and the body called the MRUC, both were completely off air. Now, if a specific publisher says, I did not know, that absolutely is possible, because that publisher may or may not have spoken to their representative through the ABC or the MRUCs.
Right. So, Ravi, how do you see this playing out now?
I think from one angle, I empathize with a lot of these publishers who were not aware or didn't want to be fully cognizant of the fact of the changes that's been done. And they feel that there's something that doesn't fit their common sense because they have the enough industry experience in the marketplace. My answer is, when we do a research, we test a hypothesis. Either it is true or false or prove it otherwise. In this case, the answer is very simple. Here, what we are trying to look at is who is reading a particular publication or a set of publication over a period of the past 30-day period. Now, when the entire methodology has changed so drastically, the results cannot remain the same. If the results were very similar to what the old studies said, then I would question what have we done to incur all this and extra efforts to make the study so scientific and technology oriented that we have lost the plot. So to me, the first point is, was there a set of variations expected? The answer is yes. Should I take it very simple to say that I don't compare it with the past data, but I compare relative measures within one publication to another, one vehicle to another? The answer is yes. The second element is this. When it is the case, unlike a TV, which is a continuous study, this is not a continuous study. These are points in time, you get data points. So unless you get the new methodology run in for 1-2 more, then you get a real trend much robust than what it is, and you get a clear thing. For this purpose, if we have to say that this is a wrong study, I think it's a premature call. And all I request the partners, publishing partners, is to have at least one clear, open dialogue. Any clarifications that's needed, we are more than happy to do it. And in my mind, most of the so-called errors or anomalies that they use as a word are really a simple misreading of the data itself.
Right.
So once that's done, I think this is a very, very good data.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Paritosh.
Thank you,
Ravi. Thank you so much.
Within an hour of the MRUC announcing its decision, the INS sent out an advisory urging its members to reject the IRS study and to take steps for restitution as they may be advised to take. Publishers including The Times of India, The Hindu, Anand Bazar Patrika and Dainik Bhaskar have written to the MRUC asking it to cease and desist from using any of the mastheads of the group's publications. This is what publications had to say.
If the methodology is changed, even if the error is there, it would be similar error. How can you, explain Delhi market going down suddenly and Calcutta market going down suddenly? Calcutta English market is shrunk by 26% for no rhyme or reason, and Bombay going up hugely. Doesn't make any sense.
As you know, the fundamental part of the research is showing the masthead of the publications to the readers or potential readers and checking from them which do they read. If the masthead is withdrawn, then the research collapses. So INS was so aggrieved at the anomalies in the report and at the poor quality of the results that they have sent an advisory which is unprecedented to its members, saying that you are free to withdraw from IRS, and some of us has taken that cue and written to MRUC that we are withdrawing from the next round of IRS.
There will be a blackout period, obviously, because and we have seen that for last 1 year also. There is no IRS for last 1 year. This new IRS, last one came out a year ago, so maybe you have to wait for another year or so, until the new one comes out. And we have to think about seriously maybe we have to restructure the whole thing, because we publishers need to be more involved into it, looks like.
At the moment, the road ahead is still unclear, with both parties refusing to budge from their stance. The RSCI, or Readership Studies Council of India, is scheduled to meet on the 19th of February, but it seems that it will just be a formality. We could be seeing the end of the IRS as we know it. Let's take a break here on Storyboard. Coming up ahead, Hindustan Unilever's Hemant Bakshi on effective marketing.